Nga Charlie Smith, Jong Banji, Georgia Strait. I'm Charlie Smith, editor of the Georgia Strait, and I'm very happy to be back on another week with WOW TV. And this week, the cover story in our newspaper focused on student awards, scholarships, bursaries, fellowships, and this is a topic of great interest to parents as well as to students. And one of the things I discovered in the course of my research that scholarships traditionally were awarded on the basis of good grades. Increasingly, they're now being awarded on the basis of community service. So this is a lesson for young people. If you get involved in your community, do some volunteer work, it can pay rewards when it comes time to go to university and you're seeking one of these entrance scholarships. So the story, when I was researching the story, I interviewed lots of students, lots of administrators. One of the students, Alice Farrar, she won a trip to Taiwan, actually, and this was in connection with her spoken Mandarin. She speaks and writes Mandarin fluently, even though she grew up in an all-white community in Wisconsin, small town, about 1,000 people, no Chinese people, but she had an interest in Asian culture. So she qualified for this scholarship. She says it's always fun when she speaks Mandarin in Vancouver to Chinese immigrants because they're always surprised. She's tall and blonde, and that's not very common in Vancouver. Another student I spoke to was Alison Greiner, and she's won fellowships. She just won a very prestigious News 21 fellowship. She's a journalism student at UBC, and she wins $7,500. A 10-week stay in Arizona, and she's going to be investigating gun control. One of the big winners that I spoke to was Aaron Bailey, who's an undergraduate science student at UBC, and he won what's called a Lawrence Scholarship, and this offered a value of about $80,000 for undergraduate. He was president of his student council in Niagara Falls. He co-chaired the mayor's advisory committee, and he was a great student, and he applied for one of these scholarships. They promote leadership, character, and as a result of winning, he gets his tuition paid through 4 years of undergraduate science work, as long as he maintains his grade point average, and he gets $4,500 per term for living expenses. It's a new world out there. There's a lot of money available. Another student I spoke to, Stephen Chua, son of Filipino immigrants, and he's a Langara journalism student, and he won the Jeannie Reed Michael Mercer Scholarship for Journalism at Langara, and that came with $10,000. And he got an internship at CBC. Now he's working as a casual worker at CBC. Works at Canadian Press on the weekends, but that's $10,000 cash. And that one was for a series he did on mental health of immigrants and looking at the types of services that are available. I also spoke to some administrators. Manoj Bakhtan at SFU was talking about how community engagement is increasingly important in the awarding of scholarships. So they still want to reward academic excellence, but they're also looking at other things. And we're seeing some organizations come forward and offer scholarships in other areas, like the Okanagan Pride Society is offering a scholarship for high school students who demonstrate support for the LGBT community while in high school and making schools more welcome. One of the people I spoke to was Jeff Norris, who's the Chief Advancement Officer at Kwantlen Polytechnic University. And Jeff he's a fun guy, and what he likes to do is create his own scholarships. So his first one he created was a $1,000 annual award. Well, now he's got himself up to funding eight $1,000 scholarships. And how he does it is through payroll deductions. And he's named 2 of the scholarships after his daughters. His 8-year-old daughter was giving away the money at the last event. He had his mother give away the money at one. So he says it's a big family event. But through his payroll deductions and with the tax credits, they end up costing slightly less than $600 per year to give this money away. And he takes great satisfaction in this. Another student I spoke to, Gurpreet Banji at Douglas College, she had a fun story about how she just was looking on the counter in her home and saw an envelope with her name on it, opened it up, and presto, there was $1,500. So it's almost like winning the lottery. But SFU right now is in a major fundraising drive to raise $250 million by 2015. Of that money, if they reach their target, $100 million will be put into student scholarships, awards, and bursaries, of which the interest will generate awards. Each year, SFU gives away, in terms of externally and internally funded awards, about $13 million per year to undergraduate students. So we're talking serious money in the area of scholarships. So I think it's an area that parents should be looking at. There are certain websites that people should be paying attention to. Studentawards.com is probably the best, but there's also bcscholarships.com and several others. So I'd encourage you to read the article if you're interested in learning more, and it just might end up putting some money in the pockets of yourself or your kids, and it will help them with their education.